This is Caux, Switzerland. It is Swiss Day, a day of national celebration, but more important to us, it is the starting day of the conference Learning to Live in a Multicultural World. Tonight the hillside is crawling with diversity. People are here from Japan, Germany, the Netherlands, Kenya, Morocco, Spain, the US, the UK, Ukraine, Romania, Sudan, Bolivia, and many, many more countries. And I travel amongst them, not simply as a participant, but as a participant observer, trying to capture the essence of this place, understand its significance, and figure out what motivates these people to travel all over the world to this specific place. Why do we share each other's company this week?
Ik ben hier naartoe gekomen omdat ik mezelf beter wil leren kennen en mezelf wil tegenkomen. Kijken waar mijn grenzen liggen, denk ik. Hier is de omgeving ook gewoon heel anders, heel rustig. Waardoor je echt tot jezelf komt, merk ik hier. Door de stilte word je gedwongen om... Ja, ik voel me dan daardoor... Het is niet dat ik gedwongen ben, maar door de stilte ga ik wel al sneller in gesprek met iemand. Omdat ik graag de stilte wil opvullen. Het is ook heel interessant om te merken dat mensen in andere culturen ook gewoon begrijpen waar jij mee zit. En misschien zelfs dezelfde problemen hebben als die ik of anderen weer hebben.
I think that education starts with helping the parents first in order to help the children, like in the poorest countries in the world, where everybody or the NGOs, they go to educate children. They first have to help their parents to educate them, because if we educate children at school and we say something about equality, the gender equality, and after they go home and they see their mother beaten by their father and they just know that the woman is nothing in the family, is just a woman, then it's no use to educate it. I think that the multiculturalism through generation is disappearing, and this is pity, because we have to recover that, we have to think at that and try to put all those ideas together to have more different ages, like here, old people and adults and young people talking together about what they think about the same topic and see the difference is what I expect from this conference, because I have my ideas, I came with what I think that this has to be done, and I'm waiting to see what they think, and hoping that I hope that will be a common point there.
Yeah. So it's one of those places that maybe I can say a lot of people give me stories about, and I thought maybe one day, if chances allow, I can also come to Caux and experience the serenity, the atmosphere that really makes people feel moved to start living meaningfully and to start doing bold things and start responding to the challenges of the societies they are living in and changing people's lives, importantly starting with changing their own lives. So I think that's basically why I felt I needed to be here. And I think it's been a wonderful time for me, meeting people, connecting with people and learning about concerns, pains, and struggles of people, of countries, of societies, of communities, and some of the things that maybe I didn't know, some stereotypes being broken about a certain community or people in some country. I think all of us are having problems that we need to respond to. But before we respond to the problems of others, we have to respond to our own personal inadequacies. There are those places that maybe we are failing morally, that we need to put things right and to identify where do I need to mend a relationship that's not going on well. Where do I need to apologize because of things that I did that are not pleasant? Where do I need to forgive and forgive unconditionally? So it's been a wonderful conference. Yeah.
I've been coming here for about 45 years, off and on, but in recent years I've come, and 2 years ago I came to a conference similar to this, Multicultural World, which interested me greatly because it's something on my heart, is how we live together as different cultures. So I thought I would come back this year as a participant. I've been very struck by the number of young people here from lots of different countries, and they're all different, but there is a common heart to wanting to do something worthwhile with their lives and to build community. You meet a group of people here in your team who you never met before, and you think, who is this person? But then you start sharing and you hear about their lives. Such rich experiences. And there was one 14-year-old girl who I met here, hadn't met her before, and she's from Britain, and I asked her, do you come from a very multicultural school? And she said, yes, in my area we do. And so I said, what has struck you about that school? And she said, well, there's a Chinese girl in my school, and in China they have a one-child policy, but she's a twin, and her parents had to decide which twin to keep and which one to have adopted, and she was the one who was adopted, and she's ended up in Britain. And to think of a person in that position when they're twins, you've got to decide which one. Thinking of the poor parents, awful decisions to make. But this was a young girl of 14, and I thought, just another school student. But the experience of life and people she's met, far more than I ever had at her age. Amazing.
The place I come from is originally, I would say, is where conflict seemed to be the agenda of the day, unfortunately. And so I'm always in search of a place for peace, which is something that I promote every day. And no other place, from what I learned from previous experience, could offer a serene environment like Caux. A striking story that I was able to hear about is a film that was shown here regarding it was called, I think, Beyond Forgiveness, and it's about a lady whose daughter was killed and was able to forgive the one who ordered the killing, which was not targeting her daughter, but it was a response of a revenge for killings that took place. She was able to meet the gentleman, find out why it took place, and the gentleman who passed this order was also courageous, I would say, to admit this, which is as a consequence, I believe this is the reason why she was able to forgive him. So for me it was extremely touching for the simple reason that it took me again back to the place I come from. If we could only be able to forgive our enemies, we would release ourselves from such heavy load, and at the same time we would also have alleviate the same weight from the other end. It was very, very, very touching for me, this story. Yeah.
So I came to Caux last year, and I came because a family friend of mine came the year before that, and he thought it would be something that I would enjoy because I didn't quite know where my life was going to go because I was having a year out and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And it was amazing just meeting all the people that I never really knew, never really thought about their lives and how different their lives are to mine. And I thought I had this idea of how the world was, and it wasn't like that. And I think I felt very inspired by the people's stories and the strength that people had and the ability they had to just keep on going when times were so hard. So it just filled me with hope and strength and power and inspiration, and I just wanted to do everything I could. And then I came home to my little safe haven. And I found out that I have a disability, a fatigue disability, which means that all the things I wanted to do, I can't really do. And I got quite ill and I rejected the idea of, no, you can't do what a normal 19-year-old would do. You have to stop and you have to, and I just hated that thought, and I thought, no, this isn't happening to me, this isn't fair. I rejected it and I pushed it away, and I did everything I could to, keep going, and then I ended up pushing my body way too far and ended up really quite ill, and so now my energy is even less than it was last year. I used to be a very positive person about my future, and I think I got to a stage where I was very negative. It was very easy for me to see oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that, this isn't going to happen, this isn't going to happen. And I lost the hope that I gained from last year. And then I got an email from the organiser of the conference, Evie, and she was sort of like, oh, do you want to be on the team again? And I was sort of like, oh, hadn't really thought about going to Caux, would I? It was very tiring the first time because I put everything I could into meeting these amazing people, and it was brilliant, but it was tiring. And then I kind of thought about it, and I thought actually that hope is such a strong and powerful thing that it would be so nice to have that back again. And so I'm having a completely different experience this time. I'm not having the enlightening, mind-blowing, sort of open your eyes type of experience. I'm having more of a strengthening experience. Last year I learned how naive I was, and I learned a lot about the world, whereas this time I think I'm learning a lot about myself.
I think what I got out of this conference is that there's many people who struggle also with taking the first step. And basically a lot of people who come here at Caux are ready to be engaged, or are already engaged, and still there's more to learn about it, and that's what they know. So they come to a place where they find other people with other experiences that they can learn from, and I consider myself to be one of them actually. Although I was here to facilitate, there's also so much to learn from me. And next to gaining a lot of knowledge and ideas, I also feel that a lot of people are actually looking for support in really defining the next first step. You can have this dream about the mountain you want to climb, or, well, metaphorically speaking, of course. But then when you go down, we're going to be faced with reality. And reality is sometimes pretty harsh. It's really a challenge I find myself to stay motivated And again, it really helps me to just take the first step. I might have this big dream of where I want to be in a few years from now, but there's really always just the first step to take, and to really define that first step, and to be challenged by somebody who is going to call me next week or next month, like, did you take this first step? I think that's also part of Caux. So I think basically what this whole conference is about is really about experimenting with your own life and designing the next experiment. For example, there's lots of people who have this belief that they can't dance, and they somehow have this idea like, I don't know how to move and other people can dance better than I, and blah 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 blah. It's like this little guy sitting on your shoulder and says, no you can't, and don't do it, and you should be afraid. And now last night we had this incredible experience of dancing, and I think it made very clear that if you're willing to put yourself to the test and to just take the first, well, dance move in this regard, in this sense, the next move will just automatically follow. And this is exactly what happened. Although I physically feel exhausted, I also feel very energized. Like, I have a lot of fresh ideas, a lot of fresh contacts to go down with, to go down the mountain, and to make the next step tomorrow. Yeah. And it encouraged me also to know that there's many people, other people out there who are willing to do the same and to face the challenges that I also face. And at the same time, it's good also to have people you can party with in life. Yeah.
So then the question again, why do people come to this mountain? Listening to these 7 people, something dawned on me. People come here to share stories and experiences, but also to be moved by what is shared. Each individual story, each expressed emotion seemed to connect these people. Sure, people come here to learn something, but equally as important seemed to be the fact that people also come here to feel something. And I guess by listening to all these stories, I also felt. But just as the answer to my first question dawned on me, a second and more difficult question arose. A question whose answer only starts with the conclusions of this film. For with all that has been gained on this mountain hill during the conference, what does it amount to when we will leave this place? What are all these people going to do once they get off of this mountain?